Hi, everyone. Welcome to Create a Video Game with Codingville. We are so excited to be here with you. This is going to be a super fun session with lots of fun and building and just really kind of diving in together. So have fun with us. Don't hesitate to connect with us. We do have the chat on. So we would love to connect with you. If you are here with us live, let us know who you are or where you're coming from. We would love to connect with you. I will also be sharing some resources in the chat. So make sure you do find that. And we already have our first live guest saying hello. So thank you so much for letting us know you're here with us. It's so great to see people connecting. So welcome, everybody. We're going to dive in. I'm going to drop our session resources into the chat for you as well, but we're going to start off with a few introductions, and I will let our amazing presenter share who she is first.
Okay, so I am Cami Cannikins, and I am coming to you from Medicine Hat, Alberta, Treaty 4 and 7 territory, and I work as a logics facilitator on the side, but I also work as a school district here in Southern Alberta as an instructional coach.
Wonderful. My name's Katie Eklund. I am an educator down in the United States. I am located in Big Fork, Montana, so close to Canada. And I am excited to learn alongside of all of you today. I am newer to Codingville with those of you who are maybe newer to it. So we're going to learn together and it's going to be super fun. So again, thank you all so much for joining us. And we have this amazing resource, Native Land. And I just wanted to take a moment to share that it is very likely that you are participating and learning from or near a traditional territorial land of the many Indigenous groups across North America. I acknowledge that I am presenting from the traditional territory of the Salish people, whose beautiful land, which I am able to teach, learn, explore, and share my passion for technology with all of you. So again, thank you all so much for joining us. We are very excited to be here. Logix Academy is here, is the one kind of who's bringing us here in amazing partnership with CanCode. With their generous funding, we are able to bring you amazing tools today, like Codingville, and then in other sessions from HackerGal, Your Voice is Power, Digital Moment, and First Canada. So without CanCode, we could not bring you all these amazing things we have happening today. So thank you so very much. So now we're going to dive in. I'm going to pass it over to Cami, our expert, so we can all start learning together and having some fun.
All right. And so today, friends, we are going to look at how to make a video game inside of Codingville. So we're going to get you into Codingville. We'll do a little bit of kind of a teacher overview and student overview because we're not sure the extent to which you've used Codingville. If you're joining us today, if you could let us know, have you used Codingville before? Do you have an account? That would be super helpful. And then what we're going to do is we are going to make what they call a joystick game. So when we do some computer gaming on our computers, we can maybe have a joystick, or if you do Minecraft, you use the WASD keys. Well, we're going to choose the joystick game today, and we are going to use some collectibles, and we're going to make some damage, and we're going to build out a whole scene and look at lots of different ways that we can play a game, and then how at the end we can share that and save that. Okay, so we see that one of our friends has just made a Codingville account. Great. If you would also let us know what age levels you teach, that would be helpful as well. And so as we get into Codingville, just a brief overview, because it is a newer platform for lots of people, even though it's been around for a while. It's game-based education, and while they do have lessons and intro lessons, one of the things that Codingville does is it gets us into kind of a game builder and an app builder space. And so that's kind of its end goal, is it wants to give us some coding moves and some background, and then the real power is kind of once you get through that, the app builder and the game builder space. And so it uses block coding as well, but there's also a block to text. So it helps kids move from block coding to text-based coding, and that's often a difficult jump. And then you can also do text-based coding with Java and some other languages as well. We're going to work on the block-based coding today as well. And there's also a great level of differentiation, lots of teacher resources and all those kinds of things as well. And so teachers, when you make an account, you can actually have your students join your class. So you make a class, and then you can check on their progress. You can see how far that they've done. You can see here on the screen, on the left tab, there are what they call journeys. And this is on the right-hand tab, that's skill practice. So there's a couple specific little pieces how to do different coding moves. You'll notice like an if then and an if else. So those are some specific lessons. And then the journeys, if you click on that other tab, when you get in there, you'll see that those are a little longer. We can track students' progress, and their Codingville is a Canadian product, and so it aligns to lots of our curricular outcomes. There's a
Cami, sorry
yeah.
to interrupt you, but we did have a good question, and I'm not sure if we know the answer, but we probably can find out. They're asking if a student wants to get into coding,
Oh,
is it script coding that needs to be mastered? This teacher teaches special needs students.
um, if they want to be a professional coder, yes, in the end, that would be where we need to have kids end up. However, um, a starting spot that we recommend is the block coding, because
Right.
it's visible, it's
Mhm.
interactive, it's more easy to see where the issues are. And so I would say yes. In general, when we start kids young, Codingville we've used with grade 2s and 3s, grade 4, um, and up, of course. But if we start young with the block-based coding, we do hope that they get into the text-based coding. And so that can be tricky, because the block-based coding is simple and easy. But yes, we do want to transition our kids, if they want to look at coding more seriously into into a career, then definitely we do need to transition them into a coding language or text-based coding. And Codingville does a nice job of bridging the two. So good question. Good.
Thank
Um,
you so much.
there are lots of teacher resources, and so these are actually teacher lessons that you can do to help you understand the coding as well, or that you help you understand the platform. So there's lots of teacher resources as well. So for today's lesson, you can log in as a teacher. You can do our game creation as a teacher, and so we'll have you go ahead and do that. If you haven't logged in, I'm logged in. Katie, are you logged in?
Yes, I'm all logged in. And if you are brand new to Codingville, just go make an account. It literally takes like a minute or less. It's super simple. So don't hesitate just to go make one right now with us while we're chatting for this quick moment. I did put the link in the chat as well, because anyone can just hop in and join right now.
Absolutely. Good. Okay. So codingville.ca, you can log in, or if you don't have an account, you would sign up. And then once you get in, you don't have to do this today, but just so you know, you can, under the classroom button, you can create a classroom. And once you create a classroom, then as you go in, you can click on the students tab, and there's a tab where you can actually add students. And if we go into there, you can add them by hand, you can add them manually, you can upload a CSV file. So there's different ways that you can do that. And then you'll see here that it says score. So it tracks kind of what they've been doing, or when they do the journeys or some of those skill builder items. Well, let's actually just jump right in there. Here, let's go. I'm going to pop over here and we'll just talk about this live, and then we'll come back to the deck. So if we go to classroom, we go into a classroom. We can see here under students that my different students have a different numbers. And then when we get into the projects, oh, the journeys, here we go. You can see that there's like XP points and coins that they collect. And so that is what's happening with that score, right? So as they're going through, those are the pieces that they're gaining, or where that's coming from. Yeah, so that is how that goes. Now, the journeys, we talked about those, or we saw the skills practice, the if then, the while, the if. The journeys are a little bit more detailed. And so if we look at, you would start with this first one, coding using blocks. And now, one of the things that I like is we can actually check it out before we press assign. So if I click info, it tells me what it does, loops, sequences, conditionals, all important things. It tells me a little bit about the journey. And then I can actually try it. And so I can come through here and here's lesson 1. So you do these pieces. Here's lesson 2, and there's a whole bunch more. So each of these levels has different pieces where they are using, you can see sequences, events. You can see what they're learning as they go through. So there's, in this one, 6, I don't know, sections, and then 4, 5, or 6 pieces within each one of them. At the end, it's kind of where we're going to pick up today. There is a little tutorial about how to complete a game, and we're actually going to jump in to that point. We'll assume that your kids have done a little bit of coding, that they know a little bit, and once they know, we're going to jump into that game point. Okay, so I'm going to click back on home. We were just on journeys. Now, actually talking about the script base, we'll just pop in here real quick. So here we can see from blocks to Java. So this helps. I'm going to click info, and then again, the try. It helps us go from the blocks into the text-based coding. So it helps them. If this is what it is in a block, this is what it's in text. So it's a really nice crossover. And then this last adventure here, you can see Coda using JavaScript. Then they're full on into the coding, and you'll see this is intermediate, grades 7 and up, or people who have some coding experience. I would not start students there. I would start them along the line. And then,
I love that. And I think that's such a great way to get started is to kind of just work your way through that. So that's awesome. And for our viewer who is asking questions, it kind of just shows you, again, reiterating Cammie's recommendations, starting with that block-based coding, and then moving into that more advanced coding.
yeah. And so actually, so on the screen here, I would actually start before, well, the skills are important too. So there, in the skills, there's some important pieces. I might do the skills before I started into the block-based coding journey. So you kind of have to dig around there. What we're doing today probably wouldn't be your very first thing that you do in coding if students have never coded before, but our instructions from Katie and me are going to be so good today that you probably could make it work. All right. So let's just pop back over here. For students, when your students sign up, the students click sign up, and then they answer a few questions, and then you'll have a code for them. And so they'll put the class code in. And once they do that with their username, then they will be inside of your class and you'll see them. And there are a few little videos throughout. There are some video tutorials in different sections. And so that does happen as we go along. So we are going to get into where to make a game. Now, I actually showed you this screen where we can get to the end of the coding tutorial. And at the very, if you click on the puzzle piece at the end, that you can get to kind of a game building platform there. But we're actually going to just take a shortcut today, and we're going to head into projects. So this is where we went to try it. And then under the coding, that last puzzle piece, these are some of the pieces that we're going to do today. If you want to break it down and do it by more step by step, we're going to lead you through the whole thing today in a different way. So we're going to come on over and we'll just actually go live for this part. So, oh, sorry, Katie, do you want to switch over to my screen, my computer screen? Just let me know when you've.
Yeah, sorry, it's just having
Oh,
a moment. It
okay.
doesn't want. Oh,
There you go. Oh,
oh,
we both did it at the same time. My fault. I asked
sorry.
you, and then
There we
oh,
go.
that's me. I pressed the button. Okay, so we're going to come into projects. Now you can see here that I have some games that I've made. I'm going to come at the top and I'm going to click create. So from the left-hand side of the screen, projects, and then I'm going to click create. And you can see here, this is kind of Codingville's big sell. It's that yes, they have some lessons and they have some pathways that you can take and your students can follow those and do the step-by-step building of skills. But then in the end, once they have those skills, they can come in here and create games and apps. And that's kind of the big end place of Codingville, is where they want you to be able to have the skills to do some things. So we're going to click on create games and then look at that. Here we are in this tab or in this universe. And so we are now ready to make a game. And so if we come on over here and we click on the right-hand side, we have our test screen. I'm going to click run code and I'm going to click play. We can see our screen here. So on the left-hand side, you can see my joystick. Now, in the bottom, Katie, can you see in the bottom left, kind of hiding behind the A, there's my robo, my little robo that I'm going to program. It's
Yes.
a little bit hidden
Hmm.
right there. Okay, but that's where
Hmm.
it is. So right now, if I click on the up arrow, hopefully you can see that clicking left, down, he's not going anywhere, right? So we
Right.
can see here that there's no code, no stars, no hearts. There's nothing coded in there. And so obviously we need to get him into some code. So I'm going to stop over here and we are going to take a look at our dashboard. So the very first thing that we're going to do is at the top, we have a level editor and logics editor. So that level editor is where we are going to make our playing field, if you will. And then the logic editor, that's where we are going to create our code. So the very first thing that we're going to do is we're actually going to come into events and we're going to see if we can get that joystick working, first of all, so that once we start to create a playing field, we can test it. So we see here we have when the W button is pressed. So if we were going to use the WASD button, but we're actually going to use a joystick today. So here we go. It says when joystick is pressed. So I'm going to pull this out into my coding spot. And it says when joystick is right pressed, something needs to happen. So we're going to come into the actions button. Right, he's going to slide right. Okay, so I'm going to click that in. Now I'm going to test that right away, make sure everything's all connected and working. So on the right-hand side, I'm going to click run code, click play. So now he should, there he goes. Can you see him now? He's moving, Katie.
Yep, I can see him
he's,
going.
he's stuck there now because I
Oh
haven't
no.
programmed the rest. Okay, so he does work, but now we got to get him out of that corner. Okay, so we're just going to repeat that. A couple ways we can do that. We can come back to events and pull out when joystick is pressed. And then Katie, what do you think we need to do? Do we need to go right again?
Nope, I think we need to go left because he's stuck.
Okay, he's stuck. And so then we pull out slide right. Okay, so we could keep going back into the events and actions button, or if I two finger click or right click, I can duplicate. And so then I can change this to up. And then I do need to get, if he's going to go up, he's going to go forward on the joystick. And then duplicate that again. If I want to get rid of a block, I just can throw it back into the left, or there's a garbage can in the bottom right. And now we need to go down and actions. We need to step backward. Okay, so let's test. When we code, I always want students to know that it's important to test often. so that if there is a bug, we call a problem with our code a bug. If there is a bug, we can find it when there's less code to look for. So we're going to come over here and click reload and play. Okay, so now you'll see we put, every time we reload, Robo goes back to the beginning, but let's see. There we go. Now he can boogie all over the place. Okay,
And I think
Katie.
that's something important to note that because Cami kind of went quick, is she pushed stop and then went and reloaded the game to bring in the new code she just built. Because if you dragged out the code and then you try it, it's not working. So often remind your students to click that stop button and then go back into it for any time they add new code.
Great. Thanks for pointing that out, Katie, because look at what happened here. He can go up, he can go down. He's at the edge, so he can't go right, but he's not going left. So I'm like,
Oh
what?
no.
But sure enough, I didn't even do this on purpose. I went too quickly. And so when joystick is left, slide right. So I need to take out a slide left and fix that. Okay, so now if I come over here and try my joystick, you'll see he still isn't working. Because why is that, Katie? Because I need to
Push stop or
so
reload.
I would reload
Yeah.
and then play, puts him back. Let's test it now. Do, 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 do. And the big test, yes. Okay, so now he is rolling along. Okay, so now we have our basic joystick commands. That's great. He's ready to go. So now what we're going to do is we want to kind of think about the game that we're going to do. So Katie, if you just think about video games, I don't know if I'm not a huge gamer. But what are some things that typically happen in general in a video game? What are some of the goals or some of the things that we do in a video game?
So often they have to do things like maybe go find something in a video game, or like complete some sort of journey, like go from point A to point B, maybe have some obstacles along the way. Things like that is what comes to my mind.
Good. So we can do all of those things. Let's take a look at our tools that we're going to be working with today. So, on the left-hand side, first of all, we have the builder grid. And so we can see as I scroll up and down, we have a grid size. We start off with 4x7. We can go to 5x9. And if I click that up arrow one more time, it can go to 6x11. So this can be much more detailed. We can have a little bit more space to do more intricate things on that big grid. Today, we're just going to keep it simple, at least for our first level, and go to 4x7. So we'll just code on the most basic spot to start with. We've got some cell editing tools. And then we can also, we can also use the texture buttons down here. Sorry, I was just processing something. So if we want to get rid of this plain black background, I can click on an item, and then wherever I click, it's going to turn it into that texture. So you can see there's a whole bunch of different ways. I'm just kind of playing around here. That looks like some black soil. There's one that looks like lava. I think that looks like lava. This one looks like a circuit board. So it's just kind of fun to play around. Oh, I already did that one. What's this guy down here? You'll notice if I click over top, it'll replace it. So we have a whole bunch of different items that we could use on our board. Katie, what color or what are you going to start with on your board?
Well, I started looking at the bricks. I don't know. I thought those were fun.
Okay. So I'm going to do, what's this purple one here? Oh, what? It makes
Ooh.
wizard hats. I was not expecting that. Okay. I guess I've never clicked on that one before. I'm gonna no, that's let's go. I'm gonna use this kind of blue color here. Maybe so I'm just gonna actually start by, and you can do this as well. Let's start by putting in just a background. So it could be varied. It doesn't have to all be the same. Katie talked about, a pathway. So maybe part of our game is that they actually have to follow a specific path, right? We might make it a little easier, or we might just make it open for students to play. So really, the sky is the limit here with what we can do for our game. So you've got bricks, Katie. I've got, can we call that water? I'm not sure if that totally looks like water, but but maybe that does in the end. Okay, so we've got a background. We can change this at any time, and as we think about what we want our game to do, we probably will. All right, you mentioned that there's something like we're often looking for something. So we have some checkpoint items. So let's say that we wanted to play capture the flag. And so we can put our flag anywhere on here. It's not a drag, it's a click. So we can put that flag wherever we would like, or maybe we want a trophy. We can do those things. Now, if I don't want the flag or I don't want the trophy, I have to come back to the builder block, click on the delete, and then delete it that way. So as you're playing around, that's how that goes if we want to put something in. And then we have collectibles. So, in games, you get points by collecting your things. And then there's also some damage that we can have. So there are mountains, flammables, barriers, traps, and UFOs. And so in this particular game, in this tool, that's what we have. We can code with the pieces that we're given. There aren't a lot of other choices at this level that we can work with. So, Katie, do you have an idea for a game? I'm gonna put my flag up here, and then I think I'm gonna put in some I don't know, maybe some barriers that make it a little tougher to get to. And if
Yeah, I am gonna
barriers
have
around,
my person have to go get the trophy is the ultimate in mind. So now I'm just looking at the different barriers or
okay,
deciding maybe a mountain here or there, something fun like that.
good. Okay, so we're gonna put some barriers in. I would suggest that for you this time, Katie, that whatever you use as a barrier,
Mhm.
um, just pick one thing to start, because
Okay.
we every different item we have to code it differently. So instead of picking 5 different barriers this time, just pick one. It'll be easier to code. So a little tip there. Now, often in a game, oh, let's actually can we look at what your screen's looking like? Well, you can get that ready, because next time before we start to put some code in, we want to see what your playground's like.
Okay.
Okay, so now I'm going to come on the collectibles, and I'm going to add, I like the coins. So I'm going to put some coins in here. Ooh, let's put one kind of right in this little corner. And I'll put one up here, put some coins in. There we go, a few. There we go. So now let's see what happens if we reload our game. I've got some barriers and some coins. I'm going to hit play. So now I'm going to make Robo move, and we can see that he can get to the flag no problem. But Katie, how fun is this game if he can just go straight there? What's not happening in my game right now?
Well, right now it looks like it's just going through anything and doesn't really matter. And it's just you're just moving, right? Even the obstacles aren't actually obstacles or things like that.
Yes, absolutely. So that is absolutely what's happening, because we haven't coded anything. So we have made a game board, but we haven't coded any of the pieces to do anything. And so that's what we're going to do next. So we're going to come back now, and instead of being on the level editor, we're going to come back to the logic editor. So you'll remember that's where we programmed our joystick. Now we need to try to figure out what is going to happen. So I put some coins in there, and typically in a game when we collect coins or crystals or something fun, something should happen. So we're going to come over to events, And look at the very bottom. It says when Robo collects, I'm going to pull this out. So right now it says when Robo collects crystals, but you can see there's a little drop down. And I'm going to change that to coins. Okay, so when Robo collects coins, now what are we going to do? Something has to happen. Katie, what do you think typically happens in a game when we collect coins?
You get points.
We get points. Okay, so to get points, we're going to come down to gameplay. So if we look at these blue blocks, I have lives, players, set player score to, or change player score. So I want it that every time he collects a coin, he's going to get some points. So I'm going to pull this guy out here, click him in, and let's see if he's working, if that's going to work first of all. So we'll leave it at 1 and see what happens. So I'm going to reload, play. Now we're testing. So if I make Robo go up to that first coin, oh, that shouldn't happen. Do you see what's happening to my score? It is going crazy. So when Robo collects the coin, change player score by 1. It is going crazy.
Mine is doing the same. When I leave Robo on the coin, if I keep Robo moving, then it stops.
Okay, so let's reload. Let's see what's going to happen here. So now we're debugging. I'm going to stop. We're going to reload. Run the code. Let's play. Let's see what happens. Okay, so if I go straight over Robo, but still, even if I go straight through, it's not giving me as many, but more than 1, right?
Mm-hmm.
What does your stars say? Is it a big number, like more than 5?
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes.
let's see if we can fix that or debug that. It's possible that it's just a little glitch because I've never seen that with the stars. I've had that sometimes with the hearts, but never the stars. So let's see if we can fix that. So I wonder if I also have my coin still there. So we also maybe need to make that coin disappear. So when Robo collides with a coin, we need to, let's try this one, remove the object. Let's see if that makes a difference. So I refreshed, play. Okay, joystick up. Look at that, Katie. For me, that worked. So if I click remove object, so now I remove it and he got 1 point. Let's see if it works on this next coin. Coin's gone, score goes up to 2. Okay. So it still doesn't make sense that the score would have gone so crazy otherwise, but okay, there we go. So he can go right back to the beginning. I have 5 points. I had 5 coins. That worked. Okay. Did that work for you too, Katie? Did that solve your issue?
Yes, it works perfectly.
Okay. So, well, that's good. We fixed that little problem there. Okay. So now let's see what we have next. So we'll look at our screen here. So we're picking up coins and we're getting rid of them. Now, 1 point seems a little slow. So I'm going to try 5. And now I'm going to come in and reload. And again, make sure that our code is working. So let's see. First one, score goes up to 5, should go to 10. Okay, so it looks like my coin collecting score is working pretty well. Okay, good. Whew, that's good. So now we've got some coins that we're collecting. Our score is working. Now let's see. What about those barriers, Katie? Let's see what we can.
Yeah, we need to figure out how to make it so when they hit a barrier, they can't just go through it, right?
Well, that certainly would be one thing to do with the barrier. So let's come back over to events. Now there's a action down here that says when Robo collides with, we can make something happen. So you might have started with mountains. I think this one's called the barrier. flammable trap. I think this one's the barrier. So, and mine, I have barriers. So now we have to decide when Robo collides with the barrier, what's going to happen. So for the coins, when we collide with the coins, we removed them. And so let's see, probably none of those things. You want something to happen to him. Let's look at the gameplay and see what's in here. So, does he lose points? Does he get stopped? Let's see. Let's see if we can have him lose points if he runs into a barrier. Change player's score by. Now, hypothetically, we should be able to do a minus. Let's see if that works. So if he collides with the barrier, he should lose 2 points. So I'm going to reload and play, and let's get some points in his coins in his pocket first here. So 5, 10. Now, Katie, if I go down, he should lose 2 points. 10 minus 2 is 8. Huh. He lost. He went to 0.
So did mine.
Okay. So it's possible that he does, it's not taking negative numbers, which is disappointing. Okay, so that's not going to work. All right, so let's see what else we have in the gameplay. Well, we could have it that if he bumps into a barrier, that it is game over. So let's see what happens here. Okay, so we'll reload, play. I'm going to collect my coins. And now if I want to go straight to the flag, oh, my game's over. Okay, well, I don't love that, but I'm going to leave that in there for right now. Same thing happened on yours, Katie?
Yes.
The game over, if you did that one, that works. The game over button seems to work. Okay, so let's just get that opened up there. Now, let's see. Maybe we'll come back to the barriers and think about that for a bit. But you know what we haven't done is we haven't had him capture the thing. You have a trophy. I have a flag. Do you want to show us your playground?
Sure. Yep. Let me just share that real quick. There we go. So
Okay.
you can kind of see, I'm going to reload mine real quick. There we go. So I have mine. I left the bricks because it was really hard to see with the bricks. So we went to kind of
Okay.
more of a sand look. And I have my little game here and my joystick moves and I can collect my coins. And then if I hit a mountain, my game's over.
Okay. All right. So we kind of have this. We're kind of got the same. Um,
Yeah.
Going on now. In the chat, it says you have instructions all over. Do we need to collect it all? At this are connected. So at this point, um, no. So as long as these things are happening, we could connect them, but we don't need to. And it's actually easier for students if we have the pieces kind of like here's the um, the barrier piece, here's the collection piece. It's a little easier to have them in little chunks so that we kind of know that they're separated at this point.
And
We
then
can absolutely put them together later.
yeah, and then also just keep in mind with block-based coding, when you do stack them like that, it typically then will run the code from top to bottom. But when they're separated like this, it can run it kind of at the same time. So when you are teaching block-based coding, do kind of keep that in mind because block-based coding, when it's really all connected, is very linear. So if you want something to kind of happen at the same time, you do want them separate.
That's a great point. Yes, for sure. So let's do something with that flag or that trophy. All right. So now we are going to go into our let's see. We're going to go into we're going to go to uh events again, and we want another when Robo collects. And we should be able to change that too. I can change mine to flag. You should be able to change yours to trophy, Katie. All right. So
Mhm.
now when Robo collects the flag, what's going to happen? All right. So gameplay. Um, does he get more lives? Does he go to the next level? What happens? Right. So I'm going to say when we collect the flag, um, oh, I just actually had another idea of what we could do for the mountain. So when he collects the flag, where were we? We were under gameplay. When he collects the flag, let's say go to next level, maybe, or even do looks when he collects flag, game complete. So yay, you win. So let's try. We can try that. So let's just see what that looks like to start. Okay, so play. And does it say game over if I get to the flag? I won't even collect all my coins. You win. Okay. So, yeah, that's reasonable.
Mm.
If we don't want to go to another level, at least it says you win, not just you're done. Okay. So, we're going to put that up. Now, I just had an idea, Katie, that
Ooh.
what if when we collide with the mountains, instead of game over,
Mhm.
um like let's do this. If we go to on start, what if we started with where is that? On start, set player lives to 25. No, let's
Ooh,
do
I like that.
okay. So on start, let's set player lives to 10. So I'm just going to reload and see if that happens. So reload, play. Yes, my hearts are at 10. Okay, now do you think where I might, can you see where I might be going here? When Robo collides with the barrier, let's have him under gameplay change lives left by, I want to say -2. Well, I'm just going to put 2 and see what happens. We're going to troubleshoot here. I don't know if that's going to make him go up or down. Let's see what happens. Reload, play. Okay, so let's collect some coins. Go up to this one. Now he's going to collide here with that barrier. Oh, look what happens. That barrier's running like crazy. So just like we had the points, it went crazy. Now we solved that other one by, and it's going up. Okay, so let's see if we can put a minus in there. I'm a little skeptical, Katie. I think that because last time it doesn't do that. So I wonder what happens if last time we removed the object. Let's see if that works here as well. So if we go, if we collide with an object, remove object, but change lives by -2. I don't know. Okay, let's try it. If you come up with something that's working to get the lives down for the bear. So now I'm going to hit a mountain. It removes it. It did it, Katie.
Yeah,
So
mine did too.
it removed the mountain.
Mhm.
Okay. So, well, I'm glad we kind of got that to work. However, then I want to say change lives. Like we need a bigger thing. Otherwise, we could just in our game we could just bulldoze all the barriers. So I'm going to say change lives left by -5. See if that works. Because if you run over too many barriers, I want you to lose your life and have to be done, right? So
Mhm.
because the game shouldn't work that you just remove all the barriers on your way. It's like knocking down the hurdles in the hurdle race, right? That
Right.
shouldn't help you get there faster. Okay, so I'm going to hit the first barrier. It went down 5. I got some points. It went down 5. Okay. So I'm at 0 lives, but the game is not ending. So let's see. When Robo collides with the barrier, remove change lives left. And then somehow here we probably should have gameplay. we should probably make it so that when there's no lives left, it goes to game over, right? So that might be something that we want to work in there. But for right now, we can just lose those lives. Or actually, we could also change player score by. We could actually just have instead of lives, we could probably just have remove points there as well. And I think the key is to just have that remove object and then it'll take away points. So we could do lives or points. Okay, let's just keep going and work on some other things and see how our game is doing. Okay, so play. Let's see, we can collect the coins. He's got some points. There we go. Get that coin. Oh, now we gotta get to the barrier at the top. Okay, I won. Now, we've just done a nice little basic game. Let's see if there's a couple little things that we could add that would maybe up the level a little bit, Katie. We've got a few minutes. Should we throw a few more pieces in?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so one thing we can do, I just noticed that if people come into our game here, there is lots of kids and adults have game sense, and we see coins, we're like, woo I need to collect the coins. But one of the things that can happen is on the start, what if we gave a message that says, let's see here, looks, I want it to talk. Where's the talk button? Looks. It should be under looks. Set. That should be a messages. Am I not looking when? Button is pressed, joystick.
It's under actions.
Under actions. Oh, say right there. Okay. On start, say. Okay, so we're going to tell our players collect the coins, avoid the rocks, and capture the flag. Okay, so let's see what happens there. Play. Oh, there it comes. Collect the coins, avoid the rocks, and capture the flag. Okay, I like that. It tells me what to do. Katie, what does did you make yours say anything?
Yep. So mine's similar. It says collect the coins, avoid the mountains, and capture the trophy to win.
Okay. Now I wonder is there a delay button here? I've never done a delay in Codingville. So we could, I was going to say we could, when they capture the flag, we could say you win, but we have it programmed to automatically go to game over. So we could put a little delay in and give a message if we win. That's one thing that we could do. The other thing that we could
I
do
like that.
to make it a little bit more challenging is this is kind of next level, but let's take a look at one last thing that we could do that would really up our game on here. So I noticed here that there's a timing. So after every 10 milliseconds, we could say actions. No, we want a gameplay. Every 10 milliseconds, so we have to put, so if we wanted 10 milliseconds, we'd need 10,000. So let's go 5 milliseconds. So 5,000, I think, would be 5 seconds. Every 5 milliseconds, gameplay, change player score by, let's try -3. So Katie, the longer it takes me to play, actually, let's just go -2. My idea is the longer it takes me, even if I gain the coins, I'm going to lose the longer I take. I don't know. Let's see if that works. We're getting pretty complex in our game. We got lots of coding going on here. Okay, so every 5 seconds. So if we stopped and listened now, So I'm at 13. I'm just, oh, it went down by 2, sure enough. So I went to 19. Now I just got to get back up to the top to get that flag. Oh, it went, yeah, okay, I like that. So it's a little bit of time. Huh. So instead of just saying you have 10 seconds to finish the game, boom, and 10 seconds is over, you're done. I like that we just lose score. So basically, the longer it takes us, we lose a little bit of score. Huh. Or we could lose lives if we get that lives working a little bit better. What did you try something like that, Katie?
I did. I had it subtract stars.
Okay,
So, yep.
let's can we see yours? Let's go over to
Y-
yours.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me reload real quick and then I will share my screen. Let's check it out. Here we go. All right. So, let me play. See what's going on. We have our directions in the
Okay.
beginning, and then I'm going to use my joystick to kind of move about. So I'm collecting my coins. If I hit an object, my hearts went down, and then my stars just went down because I've been
Oh
taking
yeah.
too long. And then if I go up here, you win.
Okay. Right. So we have a lot going on in our game. We are collecting coins and getting points. We are losing points if we run into, we're losing lives or points if we run into an obstacle. We're collecting a prize, and then on that prize, we win. Now, if you wanted to continue this, if you get the prize, you could go on. There is a, let's pop over to my that is my screen. Okay. There is a button here. We could have said when Robo collects the flag, we could have said go to the next level. All right. So we could go to the next level. And if we come down to the level editor, we could click +2. And when we click on there, you can see that we have a brand new screen to play with. Oh, but the code is still there. So there's lots of different options. Now, Katie, I'm realizing that we haven't saved our game yet.
Oh
Okay.
no, we have to
And
do
so
that.
that is very important. So with my game, and we always with students should do this sooner. This is probably the first thing we do, and usually it is. I apologize for my lack of good digital stewardship today. I'm going to first of all click on the little pencil here. Ooh, I'm going to call mine Capture the Flag. Get it? Capture the Flag. I love that game. So mine's called Capture the Flag. And then I'm going to click on Save. So you see in the top green corner, it says project saved successfully. So now, if I'm a student who's connected to your class, that'll also save into your class so that you'll be able to see those pieces. Now, about the publish button, the publish button right here. So we can also save a copy. So sometimes, actually, let's talk about that save a copy. Let's say I have this version. So I'm going to click save a copy. And I want to try something different, but I don't want to lose my whole code. And I actually have one thing that I want to try. We're going to come back and do that. So I now have a safe copy that if I wreck something, it won't matter. But the other thing I want to show us is publish. So if we click publish, you have to decide, teachers, whether you want your students to do this. If you click publish, your project will be public. And so what that means is if I come into the Discover tab over here, you can see all of these are not my students. These are students from all over the place. So when we publish items, they come into this space and they're public and available to everybody. So just a note that happens. Right now, if I search flag, there's nothing there. I haven't published. So there's you may choose to publish, absolutely, but do know that if you do publish, then your project does become public. That would be the way if you want your students to test each other's, you could publish it and then they could test it. So that would be an important piece here. I do want to try one thing, speaking of trying things, let's go back to our projects. Now you can see here, I have captured the flag and I have captured the flag. This should say copy. In the copy, I'm going to come in here. Let's go to play. I have an idea. Whoops. I want to edit. So in my editing, I noticed down here that I had go to the next level. But when I went to the next level editor, here I have two. And then I go to the code. I noticed that I have the code from the first one. So I have a theory, Katie, and I'm not sure if this is going to work. So under the builder, I have this one that says clear level. Do you see right here, clear level? And so I'm not sure if this is going to clear the space or if it's going to actually clear the code. So I kind of want to try that. So if I go clear level, oh, it just clears that. But what does it do for the code? It keeps the code there. Okay. So I thought it might clear the code. I can't. Where is that code? All right. So it just cleared the level. So now I didn't lose my whole piece because I was trying something. I know that if I use that clear code, it's like an eraser and it takes me back to scratch. So I safely have that in my copy. I didn't wreck my initial game. So that's just a neat, if you want to try something out, a neat way to do that. Save this project. This is my copy. I'm going to say no because I haven't actually done anything different. It still exists in my projects. So there's capture the flag. There's the copy. They both still exist. All right, Katie. So we each have a game. What was one surprising thing that you learned today?
What I really liked was when we were kind of coding the different pieces of it and getting creative with the timing. That was kind of something new for me that I hadn't coded before, like having things happen in the background based on just a set number of timing. That was really neat. I really liked adding that layer of difficulty to the game. I thought that was really fun.
Yes. So speaking of difficulty, as we wrap up here, and Katie's probably going to pop the feedback form in the chat for us as we're chatting. As what we coded today, teacher friends, that was a lot, right? We wanted to show you lots of tips and tricks. If you have young kids, if you're coding your first game with your students, you do not need all of that. In fact, you shouldn't have all of that. It should be here's the ring, code the joystick, go get it. And maybe you have some coins that you pick up along the way. So, like we said, we had a lot going on there. We wanted to show you lots of little moves that you can do to make a game interesting in the short time that we have. So, I feel that we had lots of little elements that you can do, but you do not need to put them all in a game like we did. We put a lot in there so that you could get your brain going and think about, oh, we could do this, or we could do this, or we could do this. So we hope that you had fun creating and coding a game in Codingville. If you coded a game, we would love to know about your game. What did you capture? Did you collect coins or crystals? As you're wrapping up, we'd love to know about the game that you created today. And that is Codingville for you. So we can actually move back to our slide deck here, Katie.
And thank you so much, Cami. This was so great. I know that our audience is saying thank you in the chat as well. This was so fun. I learned so much. It really kind of challenged me to think a little bit outside the box with the different level of difficulty. And like Cami said, building that on, start really basic. And then once they get that, like, done, then maybe later they take their game to the next level. Or maybe level one is super simple, and then level two increases that difficulty and so on and so on. So
Yes,
that was really
absolutely.
fun. Really
Good.
liked those ideas. So thank you so much, Kimmy. That was amazing. Thank you to our audience for connecting with us in the chat. It was so great to be able to connect with you as well.
All right. So we saved and
Yeah.
published our work, and you might have chosen to make it part of the public library. And there, if you want the deck with all the steps, if you're going to get your students connected, Codingville game at bit.ly. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great day. Bye.